Is there anybody you suspect that may be involved in this?
I would have a clue. I would have a clue who could harm my baby. You know, unless somebody was envious of all the good that she was doing. I don't know. I don't know.
But she never complained of that? She never complained of that?
Complained of what?
Somebody, like maybe business related, that was jealous of her and threatened her?
No, I don't think so. I mean, she always felt there were people out there that were trying to do what she was doing, but they didn't have all the credentials she maybe had. Like, she's got a bunch of credentials, but there would be this person here who had maybe one or two of her credentials, but yet this person was trying to accomplish all the things that she was doing with all her credentials. Mm-hmm. And she always felt that there were, you know, people out there that weren't as qualified as her, but they tried to do what she was doing.
Okay.
But she didn't feel they had, not that she didn't want them to do it. She wanted people to do what she was doing, but they weren't doing it her way.
Okay.
They weren't doing it her way, you know. That's how I perceive her, because she was very adamant about, I mean, I remember going to her, she received what they call the Apex Award for Businesswoman from Fort Myers. She was one of the 5 finalists. And I remember being there, and my daughter Ann, she had to have somebody present her, and in most cases it was the husband.
Yes.
But she said to Mark, she said, would you mind very much if Ann did it? Because Ann is very good with words and everything. He said, oh, by all means, you know. So he introduced her, and then after, no, I'm sorry, my daughter Ann introduced her, and then Teresa accepted her, and she made her comments and everything. But when you know, there must be a copy of that.
Okay.
Speech that my daughter Ann made to introduce her, and the speech that Teresa made after Ann introduced her.
Right.
And she had a quote, and I can't get it right, but it all was something to the effect that staying healthy is your wish, but it's my passion.
Okay.
Something to that. I mean, it's not right. I'm not saying, but it was her passion to keep you well. Sandra called Mark on his cell phone.
Okay.
I guess it was about 9:30 Monday morning.
Right.
And says, Mark, doctor hasn't come in yet. And that's not like her. You think maybe she overslept? So I said, well, not likely, you know. He says, you know, she might be running a few minutes late, but I don't, you know, she was always on time to get to work. Mm-hmm. So now he's trying to get a hold of her. I'm trying to get a hold of her, texting her and this and that, and we're not getting any answers. And he's already in tears. He didn't know what had happened, but he's already in tears, thinking the worst. And I'm saying, Mark, you know, you got to be calm and collected. We got to see that there's got to be a rational reason for this, you know. So finally, he just couldn't get a hold of her. He says, well, I got to go to, you know, oh, I know. He says, check for her phone, you know. Mm-hmm. And it showed that it only had 4% left on it. And he said that she was having problems with her phone keeping the charge. And she took home a charge. So he didn't have a complete charge. He was using my charger. So anyways, he called Mark. He said, I'll see if Mark's around. No, I think, I'm trying to remember which happened first now. No, I think he called Mark first. He didn't answer. He left a message. So in the meantime, because he didn't get right back, he called his mother.
Okay.
And they were heading out. I just found out that they were actually on the road. And then Mark called back to my son-in-law and said, well, I'm right around the corner. She said, so I'll go check on her. And they made some joking comments about how it could all go about, you know, should he go in through the front door, or, you know, I guess Mark said, maybe I should Mark told him to use the code.
Okay.
And, see, I don't remember exactly how it went, but then he said, well, maybe you better go to the front door. But then he says, if you go to the front door, she says, Teresa's got a gun. She might think it's an intruder and shoot me, and then it'll come out that Teresa shot her best friend's husband.
Right.
You know, because she didn't know who he was, thinking he was an intruder, so they start laughing about it. And so, evidently, when she didn't answer the front door, he went around the back and used the code.
Okay.
And that's when he called Mark and says, Mark, you got to come home now, fast.